White House is preparing to make waves. However, this time, it's in the deep sea. President Donald Trump is considering an executive order that would let the US companies mine the ocean floor in international waters without going through the United Nations. The plan will also allow firms to fast-track permits through a US agency instead, bypassing a global review process, which is still under debate. With critical minerals like nickel, copper, and cobalt at stake, the move reflects the Commander-in-Chief's America First push to control key resources. But the idea is already drawing global backlash, raising legal questions and environmental concerns about mining, which is one of the Earth's least explored frontiers. More details in our next report.
In a dramatic twist to international ocean politics, the Trump administration is preparing to punch through global red tape and open the floodgates to deep-sea mining in international waters. The executive order, which is still under wraps, would let US firms bypass United Nations oversight and mine the ocean floor through a domestic shortcut, triggering fury from allies and rivals alike. At the center of the plan is the Metals Company, a Canadian firm backed by mining giant Glencore. The company is eyeing the Clarion-Clipperton Zone, an abyssal plain 2.5 miles beneath the Pacific, rich with nickel, cobalt and copper. The TMC has already poured hundreds of millions of dollars into exploration and wants to start commercial mining by 2027. But why the rush? TMC and the Trump team argue that the world cannot wait for the United Nations' slow-moving International Seabed Authority, which has spent years crafting a 256-page mining rulebook with no end in sight. At the latest ISA meeting in Kingston, Jamaica, diplomats reviewed hundreds of amendments. Still, they left without a resolution. Meanwhile, the ocean floor remains untouched, and so do trillions in buried minerals.
In light of the significant lack of scientific research, absence of an environmental policy, unresolved questions about benefit sharing, and serious liability concerns, deep-sea mining is far too risky to proceed.
But the Trump administration sees an opportunity and a geopolitical weapon. With China tightening control over global mineral supply chains and blocking exports of defense-critical elements, the US is scrambling for alternatives, and deep-sea mining offers one if the legal and environmental hurdles can be cleared.
Any unilateral action would constitute a violation of international law and directly undermine the fundamental principles of multilateralism, the peaceful use of the oceans, and the collective governance framework.
Even nations typically friendly to seabed mining, like India, Russia and Norway, are urging caution. They fear the US could upend years of delicate diplomacy and flood the market with cheap metals, undercutting their own plans. But the TMC sees things differently. CEO Gerard Barron called the ISA a broken bureaucracy, hijacked by environmental groups like Greenpeace.
We see deep-sea mining industry as our last green trophy and have worked tirelessly to continuously delay the adoption of the exploitation regulations with the explicit intent of killing commercial industry.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio hinted at energy and mining deals with Jamaica last week. And behind the scenes, the metals company has been meeting with Trump officials and Congress, pushing for the green light. With the next ISA negotiation set for July 2025, the world is bracing for a defining clash. Will the high seas remain a shared frontier or turn into a resource battlefield? The depths are silent for now, but a storm is brewing 2.5 miles beneath the waves.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
The Prime Minister Modi.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
I
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.